We need to get a group, that whole mastermind group that you just said. We're gonna have to get them all on one day. We gotta, me and Russ, we're gonna talk about that, brother. Let's arrange that and let's do that show. That
We
would be an
actually have
amazing
a
show.
we have a private Facebook group. Aloha Junkman. He does like 1.5 million in Hawaii. All the companies that are in the group that we went, James Corey, you know him, he owns Move My Mess. Jay Silva was there. He owns Trasher Junk in Cleveland. Um, and some smaller guys. Keith Gay was in there. He owns Wingman Junk Removal in Atlanta or out in somewhere out there. Um, but we're all doing well. We're all multi-truck operations. We've all been taught on how it's going to go, and our that's our jobs when people give us money is to keep you out of the shit, and it doesn't always work, but whatever.
So is that where Ricky came up with the idea with the mastermind group? Was from that original group? Was that from that?
You mean like the Tuesday get together, the Tuesday fucking jerk off thing that they do, or everybody gets together and talks
Yes,
about how they
yes,
did great. Yeah,
yes,
if
yes.
anybody
I've
listen,
been invited.
you what?
I've been invited to those. I'll have you know. I haven't been
Oh,
able to attend.
they've invited me, but I said if you can answer these 5 questions, I'll come on, and I've never had anybody answer them, so I don't. To me, it's like talking to kindergartners, and I don't have the time to deal with that. So I don't get into that with those guys. But no, so the original one was put on by JRA, and that was Junk Con, and I think that was like 3 years ago. And that was kind of like the Junk Expo. They had people that do that type stuff. Justin's was the first mastermind that I had ever heard of in the junk removal company in the space. And that was 3 years ago, well before the Junk Expo, well before the Dallas thing. Well, like he was probably the first person to put it on. And coincidentally, none of the people that went to his shows have ever put one on. So it's not something that we don't strive to do. But I'm sure that if I got together with 7 or 8 of the guys that in there, you would learn more in that 2 day class than in Dallas or the Junk Con that was at JRA or anything like that, because there's no one-on-one time. There's no asking questions. It's more of a let's here's my story, this worked for me, here's my story, this worked for me. It's not like you sit down and have a group setting, 5 to 10 people with each person a set amount of times. You know what I'm saying?
So Russ, when does someone think they need to go to one of these courses or hear one of these things? Is it a certain amount of years where they should
Oh.
be ready for this,
Soon as
or
you could get into something, like as soon as
Oh, I went my second year. So
second
it
year?
it it depends on what you want to do. It really depends on how serious you are about wanting to do it. And there's a lot of guys out here that run the junk companies, and they say they're serious, but they take the weekends off. Or they say they're serious, but they don't want to put that job on at
Mr.
5 o'clock on
Yee, we
Me
Tuesday
and
had
night.
Paul
this
were just talking
conversation,
about
bro.
this. We were
You
just
know,
talking about
and
this.
and so what happens is
That's
you
why I
get
asked this.
who's an asshole like me, and I'll just rip your face off. I'll come into your market and just shit on you because I will absolutely outwork you.
Well, that's what me
And
and Paul are trying to do. But yeah,
yeah, and
man.
and it's every hauler is different, and they get to a comfortable level. I just had a 2 hour conversation with my nephew in Houston about this. You start off and you get to a certain income and you're like, I'm pretty comfortable, and you stop. And that's it. That's where you stay. You don't grow. You run out of the gates as fast as you can to get to say 300,000 a year, running a one truck operation, making 100 grand, and you think you did good because you just came from a job making 40. So to you, this is like life changing money. And there's some people out there that were making $100,000 a year and decided I'm going to do this and I want to make $500,000 a year, and now they're just going to outwork you. And it's because they want it more than you. So it really the success of a junk company is going to come down to the determination of the person that's running the company. They either want to do it or they want to half-ass it. And unfortunately, in here, most people half-ass it. They're not committed 100%.
I think you're absolutely right. There's some big names out there who do half-ass it, and
Yeah,
they pre. This is the Forget About It Friday show. They preach it, but they may cut some corners.
they all do. But and
Mhm.
again, it's it's the clickbait. It's all the other shit that everybody says. I mean, go to YouTube and look up junk removal. There's 75,000 videos about how they made $1,000 in the first 2 hours of the
Yeah.
and so when you take someone with low intelligence but a strong back and they see a video that goes, I can do that, and they turn around and go, hey, Ma, I could go and pick up a couch for $300. I'm gonna go do that, all right? They don't do. Oh, go take Grandpa's old pickup truck and go get Harbor Freight and buy the $200 fucking trailer and go get it, Bobby. No, it's if you
Forget
can't
about it.
spell your name, you can't fucking do junk removal. It doesn't matter. You're just too stupid. But a lot of people, unfortunately, like I said, they have low intelligence, and so they buy bullshit real easy.
Yeah. Well, I off topic, but we have been seeing a lot of NPRs for sale lately.
Well,
I have been seeing a lot of people selling their NPRs, and it seems like
yeah.
a lot of people are giving good deals right now. So if you got some cash,
Well, it's. I mean, if you're at the point to expand, sure, buy an NPR, buy another one. But
better be ready for it.
if you're not gonna, so I have a conversation with a lot of the clients that I talk to, and it basically goes like this: you treat your trucks as your kids, right? Paul, I may even told you this or on your show before, but
Yeah, we heard it.
yeah. So if you're not going to put the money into the second truck, don't buy the second truck. That's just whatever you did for the first, you do for the second. If you think that you're at 300 grand and you want to go buy a second truck, and just by having a second truck you're going to do 300 grand and not increase ad spend, well, you would have done 300,000 on the first truck that was wrapped and lettered without spending any money. Did that work? No. So guess what you're going to have to do with the second truck? Double your ad spend. It just is what it is.
So Russ, if you are in your first dump truck, is anything else like you're done? You're on truck level now. You shouldn't be having trailers, or you shouldn't be having box trucks. You should just be having these.
Depends on. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into that. I feel
Okay.
bad. Josh took off, and I'm like, damn, dude. I hope I didn't fucking ruin your show, dude. I'm sorry.
No, he's here.
I've been muted.
Oh, okay. Is that what it was? I just saw the little button. I was like, oh shit, did Josh take off, man. I'm sorry, dude. I mean to get you off your show, dude. I'm sorry
No,
about that.
No,
Jump
he's
in
in a
anytime, buddy.
yeah, he's in the dark. You got Hey Josh, you got a light over there? You got a light, something?
He's
Candle?
creeping.
hang on.
A,
It's
a
10 o'clock here.
donkey?
Give me 1 second.
He's Matt Fitch right now in the dark.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
So,
So Russ, what do you think about that?
so here's the thing. I think it depends on one, when you're starting, what you have available in funds to get a vehicle. And then two, it's going to depend on what your ultimate goal is. So if you're starting and you're like, hey, I just want to do this part-time, go get a Chevy S10 or a Chevy 1500 and pull a fucking wire wheel wagon around and go start that way. If you're like, you know what, I want to do this, I'm going to go out. I have a truck already. I can't afford a $65,000 NPR. I'm going to buy a $15,000 dump trailer. I'm going to start that way. Right? Some people are like, I don't have a truck or a trailer, but I can get a box truck for 10 grand. We'll start that way. But if your ultimate goal is to get somewhere where okay, I see, when I first started, it was Lee Godbold and Junk Doctors. And I was like, he's got 7 fucking trucks, dude. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to do that shit. I'm doing it. I want to be that guy. And I knew that was my end goal. And, I was in a fortunate position that I already made good money. So I was able to buy a dump truck. But if I was to ever partner with anybody, the first thing I would do is eliminate every truck but a dump truck. You would buy a dump truck. 100% it would be the first thing you bought. It would be an NPR.
Let me ask you though, Russ, when you're looking, because I'm now looking to get like an employee and, eventually start having them drive. And I'm just like thinking,
Mhm.
do I trust them driving the NPR,
Yes.
The expensive.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. You're looking at the expense. Okay. So let's look at the expense cost of the truck.
No.
Okay?
No, it's not the expense. It's the scared of, don't know what you have driving your truck.
I thought
You know
you're
what
gonna
I mean?
hire me. I thought you're gonna hire me full time.
Well, I mean,
But Russ, remind you, like where we are and everything. It's, I don't know if I would just trust somebody with $100,000 truck to drive around without knowing. That's why what I'm thinking in my head, this is the logic that I was thinking. Get the box truck, something that you really don't care about, and it's kind of like the trial truck. This is where you start them off in. I really don't care. I'll start them off day one in that, try it out. You know what I mean?
Well,
I feel safer with that rather than putting them in that NPR. And I don't know.
Like you would go to an auction and buy a truck?
yeah,
Well, as long as it's clean looking, I'm feel like once you throw that wrap on, it's gonna look like a brand new truck, anyways.
right.
And something that you're dropping like 15, 20K on, you're not really breaking the bank. It's gonna make its money back right away, and it's kind of just like the first 6-month trial truck. Like, here, bro, take this home with you. This is another thing of working with me. You get this truck to go
Well,
home with.
here's what I would say: your training program sucks because if when I hired somebody, and I'm just going to be honest with you, Paul, when I picked my truck up in Philly, I had never drove a cab over truck in my life, and I drove it back from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now I don't know if you've ever driven through Philly, but most of
Yeah,
them are like fucking Ray Charles, and the other half are like fucking Stevie Wonder, and they're all trying to die in the same hour. Okay, it's fucking stupid and crazy, and I've never driven one of those. I learned there. I learned how to drive the truck. So when you hire someone new, what you do is you sit in the fucking passenger seat and they drive the entire time with you in the car. You can see how they're doing. You can see how they back up. You let that guy drive with you for 6 months. Now you've built up the trust to allow the guy to go and drive. Make sense? Now what happens is you hire your replacement because you're now the helper. Now you're out of the truck, but you feel comfortable because you drove with this guy for 6 months and he hasn't killed anybody yet, thank God. And then all you do is you just put all the stuff in the car. You put the dash cam in the car to cover your ass in case of an accident. It has geotagging on it and all that stuff, so you can look at wherever he is. You can see the speed monitoring. Is he driving like an asshole? And if he is, you pull him out of the truck and fire him. Hire somebody else. So you
Or
have all
Paul,
that.
or
You have all that to look into, and then you can just do a background check on his license. I'm
or
sure you can find
Paul,
it out.
you walk with him to the bathroom and you show him the arm and say, "Hey, bro,
Yeah,
hey, bro, let me
yeah, man.
Yo,
put your
you see
finger,
the name of this? Forget about. We could forget
yeah,
about you real
yeah,
quick, buddy.
put your
Yeah,
finger,
Don't fuck up.
put your 2 fingers right here. Watch this.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me show you something.
No, you're right, bro. I don't know, man. I was just thinking like with the box truck and everything, but no, you're right with that. I like how you do that, and you're training them with that. Yeah, I do
Now,
Yeah.
like that.
now, Paul, I didn't want to cut you off, but what's going on with you and Aaron? Let's get a little couple minutes into that now too.
Yeah,
Before we
so
do that, I'm gonna bow out. I'm
it's
pretty
late
much
over there. I know, man. I know. It's time for bed over
so. I
there. Adam,
appreciate you
thank
having
you
me
for
on.
coming on
Have a good
tonight.
night,
So
brother.
much.
Good
We'll
night,
see ya.
Adam.
Hold on, yo, guys, everybody get over to Adam Hummel on Facebook. You guys got to follow this guy, bro. He is
He's funny shit, man.
hilarious. Yeah, bro. And
He
it's
is
always
funny
every
shit.
day I wake up, man, he has me laughing my ass off. Whatever he does, whatever antics he's got going on, or local drama, like it's just nuts, bro. But everybody get over
I
there,
did find
follow
a
this dude.
washboard the other day called the double handy. Like I just
Oh,
like to make puns, and I go over the line. You know what I mean? I skirt the line of what you could show to anyone, and like a kid wouldn't know it was inappropriate, but a parent will always know. So that's my goal.
Yes.
yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on tonight, brother. Really appreciate it, my man.
Appreciate you.
Hell yeah. And Kevin says, yeah, all about the training. Yeah, 100% with that, man. That's something I'm definitely gonna have to start looking into and
Oh, hey,
learning.
Denise made a comment. She asked if I coach. I do coach, Denise, just so you know. I do coaching and mentoring, and it is extremely affordable. It's $350 a month for two calls. So they usually are like 1 hour calls, but last night's call I had with a client went 3 hours. Didn't cost them any extra. They were having some problems. We went through the whole thing, went through financials and some other stuff. So those calls I don't charge any extra for. It's $350 a month. You can text me, you can call me. I'm in a estimate. I need help. I'll do the best I can to get to you as fast as I can. But yeah, it's $350 a month, and in comparison to what I paid, fuck my god, oh shit, I paid $1,500 for.
Do you have a link to that, Russ?
No, I don't have a coaching program or anything like
Okay.
that. I don't. I don't.
I was gonna say send us the link so we can get some kickbacks.
20%. Here's your affiliate code. Russ is a dipshit.
Because Paul was just talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
do
we
have a
get
easier marketing sign link if anybody wants. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't. You know what? I never did that with my yard signs. I bought yard signs one time. I bought 300 yard signs, and it's just I went all out on my yard signs. They're like 24 by 18, the fucking big,
Yeah.
freaking. You got to see me. Look, hey, look at me right here. And I
Well-
put my own. I put my own, but there's just so many people who do put yard signs, and it's just like,
Well, I'll give you one that I saw in one of the groups a few years ago, and it works real well. It's road parking, but what this guy did is he made a billboard out of a flatbed trailer. So he built it up, put in said dumpster rentals with a phone number on it, and then he
Yeah.
just paid a guy. And he's like, "Hey man, I'll give you $100 a month if I can just park this in your driveway."
yeah, good
And he had
idea.
some guys killing it. And so what you can do is you can actually just go out and buy, like, go rent an office for $300 a
Yeah.
month that has really good road parking and a busy road, and just build that trailer and park it on the road. And you're spending $300 a month to have basically a billboard on a very busy road.
Yeah.
It will
Oh,
pay off.
Yo, this company in my area, they have about 10 of them, and they put them in every town, and they move them around. And I'm like, I get so mad. I'm like,
Yeah.
so jealous. I'm like, this shit is genius, man. Because
It's
You know
cheap.
what?
It's
You know,
cheap to make.
Paul, where we live, Paul, we have a lot of land with a lot of long roads.
yeah,
All we have to do is pull over to the landowner and talk to the landowner and
Yes.
say, "Hey, can we post a sign right here? It would just be this big, and
Yeah.
I'll pay you a certain amount of money per month,
Yeah.
as long as it doesn't get touched and it's everything." And he
Yeah.
might say, "Hell yeah, give me $500 a month. Put your fucking billboard right here. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it."
Drop it right on the front lawn, and nobody
Paul.
who's going to do that.
They sell one on the main, the 101 by us, and I went in price. It was $3,500 for the month, and all. I wanted to do an experiment just to kind of see, does it pay for itself, because it gets a lot of traffic by it nonstop. And I think if you put the right one with someone like Forget About It, I think that would be a catchy, and you probably get a lot of phone calls.
I'm thinking about that because some haulers in my area, they know landowners, so they built special signs right on the freaking highway where it's a signal and you have to stop and you can see it. But I know they paid that landowner.
Well, the other thing too is if you're going to do something like that, I had the plans all driven up. What you do is you just put a solar battery on it, or solar lights, and so at night it's lit up. So it's 24 hours a day. They see you during the day, and anybody driving at night, the light on a dark road is automatically going to draw their eyes to it. And if they take that road over and over and over and over again for a year, they're going to be like, "Oh my god, I'm so sick of seeing the Forget About It fucking sign." Jesus Christ. But
Yo, we got to get in. We
like
got to get into the whole Aaron thing, man. I can't forget this. Aaron is feeling spicy today, man. I don't know what he woke up on the wrong side of the bed or something. He was at the gym and making video after video, and he's coming at me, man, hard, bro. He's really he really wants this, man. So, guys, if you haven't already, man, October 24th, we got the Junk Expo. It's the whole weekend, the 24th and 25th. But we got some extra fun on top of the 12 speakers that are going. We're also going to have a big arm wrestling match over there. And then me and Aaron been going back and forth with each other, and it's going down that day. So you're going to get to see a 5-round right-hand match. And I want to propose this right now. This is going to be big news here. And it's actually somebody in the chat. Kevin Hess actually got it in my head. Yo, we need to do some sort of belt. We need to do some like WWF style belt. So Aaron, if you're listening, bro, let's go and split a belt. Let's get an official custom thing made. We could put on like the Junk Expo, 2025, put something real cool on. We'll come to agreement, and then the winner goes home with it, man. So
I think
I'm putting that out there right now.
Also, I think, if Matt and Joni are watching, I think there should be a contest for, all the guys bringing their equipment as their dump trucks and dump trailers. I think there should be a vote, a voted best looking vehicle.
That would be cool to have,
what I
like
mean?
a little
like
a
little
show
raffle
outside, like have the truck, the NPR
little,
truck show or trailer truck show.
Just a little box where people can vote and say, "Hey, best voted." You know what I mean? I got best voted. Dump truck of 2025 Expo. Yeah.
I did want to ask Josh a question while he's on the phone. So, Josh, when you set your ads up, your Google ads up, right? Do you set it up to cover the entire area for all the ads, or do you set up specific campaigns for a specific radius?
Well, generally speaking, we'll start with the radius, and we can revisit that in the future once we have more data. Because a lot of the times, when we'll have a client that wants to say, "Let's just target these zip codes," these high income zip codes or whatever. But I'm not a fan of assuming, because a lot of times what we think is going to work doesn't. So it does make sense to split it up by area after you have enough data, and then you can build a custom report and look and see how the areas have performed.
Nice.
So we start with the radius, but then if we notice certain areas are doing better than others, we can build a separate campaign specifically for those areas.
Well, my question specifically was this, right? So I work with a guy, and I work with two different companies, and they do it completely differently. And one does it as, okay, furniture ads are only going to go within 5 miles of your radius, because you don't really want to drive
Sorry.
35 miles to go pick up a
Right.
couch.
Yeah, no.
Might go through like 20-mile radius, or how far do you want to drive out to do a hoarder house? You know what I mean?
No. So we always do hoarder and then demolition. When I say demolition, I mean real demolition, like full scale. We always build separate campaigns, and the reason is, one, there's a lot less search volume for hoarding clean out, so you have to have a bigger area. Junk removal, it's up to the client, but we generally do like 15 miles or whatever. But then like hoarder cleanouts might be a 60-mile radius. Demolition, sometimes you do upwards of 100-mile radius. So yeah, in that regard, I thought you were just referring to like junk removal specifically.
Yeah,
But
no. Oh, just like different, like, okay, I
No.
want to do my shed ads are going to be within 20 miles.
Yeah,
My
we
hot tub
generally
ads.
always have a bigger radius to capture more search volume for higher ticket services.
Okay. I was just wondering on that. So
Yeah.
what do you see as a decent click through rate?
I see 10% as being good. Now I'm gonna shut my camera off for a second here. So it depends. Like certain ad groups that are Uber specific. For example, hot tub removal. A lot of times you might not have a lot of times for like hot tubs, for example, we might get like a 30% click through rate. If our competitors aren't bidding specifically on, the more specific it is, the higher click through rate there's going to be. But for like general terms, junk removal, you're going to have a lot more competition. Therefore, you're going to have to bid a lot more to show up at the top of the page. So that, so etc.
Right.
So 10% campaign wide, but for different services, like Uber specific services, for example, fence removal is something we have really good luck with. We can get 20, 25, 30% click through rates on those.
Yeah, not many people are doing fence removal, so that makes sense.
Yeah, same with carpets, another good one too.
Carpet removal.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just wondering how that set up and how you guys did that. That's all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, those are big factors right there. As in, you wouldn't want to be, you would expand your audience for a big hoarder clean out.
Right. Yeah,
And
and that's some of the guys. What they'll do is they put your whole entire, they'll put everything that you're advertising for in the entire radius. So some guys might set up a 60-mile radius, and that includes mattress pickup, appliance pickup, furniture pickup, and all the low dollar bullshit.
the bullshit.
And no one wants to drive 60 miles to go pick up a fucking washer. So why would you spend that money to advertise for that service so far away? So a lot of guys are specific in zip codes for specific jobs. You know what I mean? So that's why I was asking. But it tends to be right, like hoarders and home demolition and,
high paying jobs.
demolition, stuff like that. It's going to be bigger because you have such a few amount of people looking. You just have to go farther.
Yeah, you have to look for them almost.
Right.
Let
Yeah.
them find
Makes
you.
sense.
Yeah. Good. That was a good one, Josh.
Yeah, makes sense.